All right. Welcome and greetings to Circle of Grace 1, as well as Clear Blue Radiance. This is a pre-recorded format for today, Thursday, April the 30th, 2026. However, you all might see it a little later on because I was dealing with a lot of tech issues online. So here I am today, much later on. And this is an opportunity to receive this particular information. It's a very brief format. Doesn't take that much time to express these words to you so that you gain everything that you need to gain. So, today's topic is we are already divine. We are already divine. So perhaps you remember this old saying, we are human beings having a spiritual experience. Do you remember hearing that as you were growing up in your years, especially stepping into metaphysical, spiritual, or occult pathways? We are human beings having a spiritual experience. But now say that in reverse, in a different level, the reality of our truth is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And it's time for all of us to realize that we must return to our divine self as our higher self. Sometimes people say in various other religious organizations, return to your own vine and fig tree. Well, we're all over the world, all of us. All of us have lived in many different spiritual plateaus and mesas. Metaphysically speaking, we've been a part of everything, lifetime to lifetime, and simultaneously as well, if we remember that we were and still are masters. So it is good for us to realize that we are still spiritual beings. We never left the mindset and the heart set of being a spiritual being. So we have to remember this. This is highly important right now because we do not need to fall backwards. We do not need to be tripped up by fear. We do not need to be tripped up by those who are big time manipulators. So we have to be very careful. And with AI running all over the place, in some regards, it's good, but some regards, it's still a lot of fake stuff going through it. And that's being blasted globally. So we have to reawaken to the realization that we were already born divine and conscious of it at the same time. We just chose to put ourselves into these human conditions. And I'm quite sure all of you are saying now, why did I choose to live this way? People say, oh, there was plenty of lessons to learn, such as human frailty of consciousness and physical form. But that experience also slowed down our growth and our progress and our continuation of remembering who we truly are. So we have to firmly grab hold of this remembrance of our divine self as our higher self. It is time for us to accept and embrace our true nature and stop allowing ourselves to become derailed like a speeding train out of control. You see, we have to keep growing. We have to keep expanding. We have to keep moving forward. There is no time better than right now. So think of that for a moment. Who you truly are. Meditate on this moment about who you truly are. And let's let go of all of these human frailty hurdles that we have allowed ourselves to fall into these ditches. We have plenty of ancestors who have prayed for us to arrive at this particular frequency and state of mind where we can liberate the mind and the heart as well as the physical form. To realize that this higher self being this presence that we have already been attached to already carries our vibration and we carry its frequency, and we can become like the title of my book, Radiant Heart, the 7 amazing pathways to connect, activate, and communicate with your higher self. And how will you do that more? Not just by those understanding of the 7 pathways, because there are 144,000 other pathways. The most important thing is to awaken with the deep resonance and knowing this is your truth. You've never been separated. You didn't have to walk away from it. Others cannot pull it from you anymore. It's you. And we all have our own higher self. It was like I was telling someone the other day that it's like we're seated on a multifaceted diamond that is infinite. You might be adjacent to someone else and have some similar things, but those who are opposite you have similar things. And those of you that are 120 degrees away from you have similar vibrations as you. And yet, we are all a part of this infinite structure, this infinite I am presence, known as the divine self, which is our higher self. But we grow into it on our own time. We embrace it and accept it in our own sense of reality. We begin to realize this is us and no one else. So it is highly important that we understand this now. People always would say these catchphrases, and you've heard this one too. Who are we waiting for? That's a question. And then the answer is, well, we're waiting for ourselves to come online, to be in this present moment, not to be perfect, but to be present, to show up in this moment as our true self. That's why I say that today is pre-recorded, very short podcast. We don't have to guess anymore. We don't have to guess who we are. We don't have to guess who the bigger picture is. We don't have to pretend to be something or someone else when we truly have ourselves. This divine nature that's been a part of every part, integral part of our existence, every part of our wellness, every part of our struggle, every part of our well being, every part of being grounded and centered, however that appears to each and every one of us. We're still infinite. We are still this beacon light shining through the night for others to see their way back to themselves. We are this divine nature waiting to unfold this whole time and blossom through as our higher self. It is time to change our intentional vibration, or I should say our internal vibration. It's time to change that internal vibration so that we can begin to radiate a frequency of truth that can impact and influence our environment. It is time to stop shying away from our divine presence. It is time to stop dumbing ourselves down to suit others who are not trying to uplift themselves, who are not trying to get back on board with their divine nature with them. We don't have to explain who we are to other people. We just have to be it. As the youth say, we got to be about it, not just talk about it. We have to be that which we are saying, which we are acknowledging, which we are accepting, which we are now embracing. Then you don't have to feel like you're in competition with somebody. You don't have to feel like you are here to explain every inch of yourself to someone else and why you have the thought patterns you have and the feelings that you have and why you have these distinctive actions that you take. You don't have to explain to someone why you feel like being home. You don't feel like hanging out in the street, even if it's a sunny day. You don't have to be in a situation where you're clustered up with other people who you know full well have no connection to you. People say, well, it's not a us or them situation. No, it is about not just thinking about higher consciousness, it's about being higher consciousness. It's about being our higher self. It's about being a beacon light that shines a bright light that's so, so intense, and yet it overflows with divine grace in it. We don't have to worry about who we're going to be. We just have to be. We don't have to worry about if it's going to be a physical fight. No, it's a spiritual warfare for sure. But what is essential is that you recognize that you are liberated within yourself, that you give yourself permission to be this divine presence. You don't have to go through a series of rituals by some other people who are trying to tell you, oh, now your number is so and so and so. You're a divine conscious. So, no, man, you were born that. Man or woman, you were born that way. You came from another ethereal realm into this one. You came from a space like a nanodot and to say, okay, I'm this alive well being, I'm gonna show up over here. And you don't have to go, oh, and my number so and so, divine conscious. So no, you were already born that way. You don't have no number. It's infinite. We just use names to categorize things. We use these labels about ourselves to be categorized. So it kind of makes sense to people in the 3D consciousness. Will we ever experience 5D? Well, right now, you're in the fourth degree element of the heart, living a life of compassion and grace in divine presence of grace. That's where you truly are. That's why these wars are going on. All these things designed to sidetrack us. But it can't, because you already know who you are. You don't have to get permission to be your higher self. You don't. Don't look outside for the answer. It's within. It's always within. It is no accident that for a baby in the womb of a woman, a baby in the womb of a woman has the heart formed first. Not the brain, the heart. because the heart is the true brain in the body. Isn't that interesting? I don't have to ask you, are you ready? Because you are already ready for this moment and have been even before you got to this doorway. You're a living vortex within yourself. You're a living hurricane or twister within yourself. You're a living earthquake opening up to the true you and allowing that true you as your higher self, your divine self, to speak the breath of life over your life. Speak the breath of holiness, sacredness, sagacity over your own life. And when you speak into the heavenly presence within yourself, you shall see everything unfold. We're not here to downplay anyone. We're not here to pretend to be different. We're all the same. We're all spirit. But I'm just here to remind you that it's our time to be our higher self in our own life. And when we start being our higher self in our own life, we start to think and act and understand and have this overflowing compassion with ourselves. Our vibration is increased and rising up and down the spine through us, the serpentine energy, through us, an individual awakened to the remembrance, a double dose of spirituality within itself, our self. So, in closing, it is time to keep uplifting yourself. It is time to truly awaken to a new you. And you do not have to feel like you are competing with others. Yes, you are your higher self and already divine. Acknowledge, accept, and embrace this infinite truth about yourself. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance now. Don't quit on yourself. You are already divine because you are already the higher self, unfolding and blossoming right before your own eyes through your own heart. Take care, everybody. Have a pleasant day. Play this short podcast anytime you want. It's dated Thursday, April 30th, 2026. Clear Blue Radiance. We are already divine. Why? You're the higher self, alive and well. Embrace yourself. Be well. See you real soon.